I think we should do this like a deposition where it's just yes, no, yes. I don't recall.
To the best of my recollection.
Yes. This is where the decapitation occurred. I can't talk about it.
10 years of therapy to get over that.
And Angela's Entertainment was the company that wanted to pull out because they thought it was too gory.
Angelus Entertainment. Those were the insurance people or some
No,
financial
those were the
group?
financial group, and then they ended up suing New World because New World cheated them out of a bunch of money.
And they got a lot of money.
Yeah.
I didn't know they cheated them.
Yeah.
But then again, why would New World want to cheat anyway? They're fair.
It was funny how we found this town in Sioux Falls. I was amazed. Remember we came
Sioux
across
City.
Sioux City. We came across that one town, and it was like, we're here.
Halix?
I can't remember.
Hornick? Salix?
Aren't we supposed to introduce ourselves first so we know who's talking?
Yeah, sounds
Oh,
like
I didn't know we were recording. I didn't know we were going.
I think we already started.
Go ahead, Courtney. Who are you?
This is Courtney Gaines, played Malachi.
Fritz Kirsch, the director.
Terry Kirby, the producer.
John Franklin. Isaac.
Still holding on to that scare, are you? Terrifying children at the door?
Yes. I dressed up at Halloween. The kids come up and they're like, who are you?
Now, we did this at, was this a set, or did we build the front of a building?
No, that was this is all real. That was a real church out there.
Uh-huh.
And then this is the real market that we ended up
The grocery store.
saving the wallpaper and doing inserts with later.
Right. So we shot these masters in Iowa, or in Iowa, in the small town. Then we came back to Los Angeles and did the close-up inserts for 2 days, 3 days, where where Courtney showed his strength with the blade.
The creepiest moment in the movie is about to come up where I look into the window. And that I remember when we had like a pre-screening, and the three, Peter, Horton, and Linda, and I were like showing it to us. One of us was going to have to do the press junket, and it just creeped me out. I mean, I got cold chills looking at myself when I'm about to nod in.
Not here. Dolly's in on you.
Yeah, the
Dolly's
camera
in, it's a great
rushes in.
moment.
Here we go.
Really creepy.
That was
Very
fun.
scary.
All these kids that were local as extras did very well too.
Oh,
I said that earlier. I think they were great, actually. I
Yeah.
think they're some of the best, quote-unquote, best actors I've ever worked with.
Yeah.
So.
They were all excited to do it. I know that they all got jazzed about the whole thing.
And
It was a lot of fun.
Robbie was very good.
Yeah.
This was fun to set up the whole choreography of the relationships in space through little Robbie there. He showed us what was going on through the whole kind of ballet of this attack.
I forgot we went right to this, right out of the gate, practically.
Yeah.
Let's get right to the taking over the town.
There's our little icons, our little corn icons. We did the
A lot of
inserts.
that all over.
Where's the man with the clip? There's the man with the clip-on tie.
Oh,
He died, remember? And he pulled his clip-on tie off.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Now that shot we did in Iowa, we did it on with a 2x4 on a
Right, in that house.
C-stand or something
in
because we
Sioux
didn't have
City.
a crane. Yeah,
Right, in Sioux
we didn't
City.
didn't have the crane, so we used the 2x4 and we rigged some camera thing, and it worked out just terrifically well. Keep the whole upstairs, downstairs, high-low motif going.
These people were great.
Oh,
Just
they
their
were-
death scene was like incredible.
That was fun. Yeah. Little Robbie.
There.
Courtney. Oh.
Where's that pinball thing?
I think the thing that's so cool about the scene is when the cutting, the meat grinder thing comes up, and all this, you don't really see it. It's like it's all just the imagination. You see the blood spurts, and that's what really gets people.
Oh, years later, people come up and say, "Oh man, when the hand was shoved in the meat grinder," I'm like, "No, I
Right.
never saw it."
All imagination. Here we go.
Yeah.
What you guys don't know is we sat around, Kirby and I and the writer, and we talked about how to mutilate people as grown adults. It was kind of embarrassing. Oh, what would be worse? And I think a hand in the meat grinder would be. I like that
That was
idea.
great. I mean, it stands out. People always talk about that.
Yeah, but the philosophy was never to show the killings.
Exactly. That's
Right.
the genius of it.
And that
Exactly.
was
all
more,
left to the imagination.
it was all along the lines of a Hitchcock. I mean, although we know it's not a Hitchcock movie, but that was the idea: is that you show the feeling, you don't show the reality.
Right, and I think
Oh,
that's
That worked.
in a CGI era now, it still holds up because it's people's imaginations.
Right. Because people would say how violent it is, and I say,
Yeah.
you didn't see anything. You never saw anyone die on
No
screen. You never saw anything on screen.
No, you don't. You don't see a knife penetrating any bodies. You don't see people getting sliced. You see suggestions of it.
Well, there's somebody just got their neck slashed.
From behind, we didn't see
And then you
it.
saw the aftermath.
Yeah.
It was funny. You know who found?
I'd like to take this time to thank John and my agents for getting us billing on this movie.
Yes. And we're at the end. And the only reason I'm first is because Franklin comes in for Gaines.
I think they should insert and introducing John Franklin
should
Courtney
have been,
Gaines
yeah.
as. I think they should.
Yeah.
This is right. This is your first
Let's
film.
redo
Yeah.
that. Let's.
And
I want the redone.
That was my political lobby for the
Yes.
moment. That's
Right.
all.
And we shouldn't forget Linda, who did the casting on this. Who did a
Linda
great,
Francis.
who did a
Oh,
great
yes,
job.
yes.
No, she did
Now
a
I
great
owe
job.
her the start to my career.
I told the story of Courtney terrorizing poor Jeff Greenberg, her assistant, yesterday with a knife in your audition.
Right, who, of course, who
Right.
became a huge casting director.
Yes.
Jeff Greenberg,
Cheers.
who still tells that story of how not to get an
Frasier.
audition is to pull a knife on a guy.
Linda was very pivotal in finding a lot of
Yeah.
everybody.
She was just,
And
A lot of
these
it.
drawings were done by the second's wife now. What was
Michael Winter
it
was
was
our
done.
second assistant.
Stormy
Terrence
was his
Kirby.
name.
Yeah.
Nora.
And Borchers.
Those are fun.
Fritz
those
Kirsch.
cars.
Yay. Bravo.
And there's the Cornmobile,
Yes.
my favorite car.
Corn
Or the
yellow.
Cornmobile.
Corn yellow.
The hardest thing for Joe Mandolina, the location manager, was finding two cars that looked alike. That
Now,
was,
wasn't this the hotel we actually stayed at?
Yes,
Yes,
it was.
in
Yeah.
the Howard Johnson.
Oh, don't you remember we had to move the people out who were sleeping in the rooms adjacent to where we filmed
Those
all night?
the elderly people that we killed in the cafe.
Where-
we had to move them out.
Where'd you guys get that carpet? Was that actually in the hotel?
It's actually in my den right now. I have the same carpet.
Classic.
The sheets and everything. We did okay from this film, sheets, carpet, all that.
I have that end table in my in my bedroom.
And Raul did a great job as a DP. He really did under the pressure.
Schwa. Schwa
Tons of
Fernandez.
handheld. That's what I remember him having to do. Tons of handheld.
Did a lot.
Yeah, out in the fields.
We shot all night on this scene.
This
Really?
scene here?
Yeah, we had to shoot at night, lit the room 4-day, shot through the night. Remember, it was long.
Wow.
Because it's a box. It's hard to shoot in just a box.
Mm-hmm.
And a real hotel room made it even harder for the camera and the crew and the people. And then her dancing that comes up here.
Oh right.
A lot of space problems.
To move things around.
Uh-huh. Unbolt that bed, move it around.
Seriously? You did?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was big.
It was like right next to the production offices, I think.
Which was just around the corner from Howard Johnson's and all the fish you could eat on Friday nights or whatever we were.
When we were staying at Howard Johnson's.
Oh, that's
Right,
right.
yeah, we were.
Yeah.
There's a promo plug.
But I remember sitting in the cafe with Peter and Linda, and they're working over and over on their scripts and really trying to get levels of their characters going and tweaking the lines and just really working on that relationship, which I think really brought a lot to the film. Because you can just see that I believe that they're a couple. Sometimes
that
we
was the-
see films where like, you don't buy it.
One of the fun parts about the story was that they were on their way to a new life, and then, of course, they stumble into a stereotypical situation. They get split apart,
Right.
and their relationship saves them. Also, their philosophies.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, she didn't want to do this dance. I remember that. She hated the idea of dancing. She made poor Jeff Greenberg help her, the casting assistant.
did
Teach me to dance. I can't dance. I hate this. She did a great job.
Yeah.
She was wonderful. She was good all the way through because of all the
Yeah.
problems. Run and gun, the physical things. She was very strong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, she's done all right for herself since.
Yeah, I think she's done a few little movies. What was it?
Everybody gonna jump and run. Come on, the people don't believe it. I just got time to take my gun.
And Peter never smoked. That was our problem.
Oh,
He was not a smoker, and a plot point or a device in the film was the use of the lighter because he was a smoker. So it was given to him here in this scene, and then he was using it to help ignite the big solution in the end, the big fire. So he had to learn how to smoke cigarettes. So as he walked around Gatlin, in the film, he would try to show off that he could smoke, and we kept watching it saying, he can't smoke. Cut that out. So that was too bad. Peter went through all that agony.
Yeah. God. Was it clove cigarettes or anything, or just real?
I don't know.
I think they were real. I don't think the budget allowed fake cigarettes.
Exactly right. There was any budget restrictions. Anything that hit the budget, no.
$1
gonna
extra
work.
for clove? Forget it.
It's not going to work. Put it on the screen. Fun. Rejected. The cornfields that died every day.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Every
Spray painted
day.
cornfields, right?
Yeah.
Well, we learned a lot about corn because obviously corn dies as you go east. It dies earlier every year, and then as you go west, that's all of a sudden why we were in Iowa and Kansas area
Still,
looking
yeah.
because we still
Nebraska,
had
right?
we still had corn in September.
Right.
Right.
Well, we started looking when? August, July. We did our location work, then went back to shoot September,
Right.
and everything changed. Everything that we saw when we went to our first locations were now gone, yellow. One side of the road would be filled with corn, the other side would be gone. The fields were plowed up.
Yeah.
It became a difficult thing to always find locations, even though we thought we knew where they were.
Yeah.
We bounced around a lot.
I just noticed the Night Shift book again was on the
Oh, right.
Yeah.
top,
Yeah.
a little homage to Stephen King there. That's cool.
And this guy kept his corn up for us. He did good because he got
The owner.
Yeah, he got paid for the corn, and then after it was all destroyed, he harvested it anyway because it was feed corn.
What was this kid's name again? It's wrong.
Jonas Marlowe.
Jonas, right?
Yeah.
Really bright kid.
Oh,
That's what I
he
remember.
was so intelligent.
Yeah.
Really great kid.
Joseph told us he was running away. He said he couldn't take it anymore.
I like this scene because we got the nice, beautiful soft light that came in through the door and kept it very natural. Started the whole yellow kind of glow and wash about everything.
Yeah. I remember Jonas running lines with him, and he really wanted to get some kind of an accent going. He was in the Midwest. He was like the only one of us. That's where he had somewhat of an accent. You can hear, pray tell, I can tell. He was such a little actor. He was great.
How'd you like working with Robbie and stuff?
Oh, I don't think I had any scenes with him. Oh, just, that one. Just the one scene. He was a great kid. I mean,
I think he was a character already.
yeah,
That's what I
40-year-old
think.
man,
Yeah,
and a
he
little
was a
body.
total
He
character.
was really
Very smart boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both
Yes.
he and Anne Marie are very smart.
the whole thing. Excuse me. I remember that whole thing that came up.
At the end, yes.
Unless you tell anybody I'm gone.
A lesson you tell anyone. That's it. Jonas.
Die, stick a needle in your eye.
That's great.
Okay. You know what that means now. If you tell, you're gonna burn on the lake of fire for all eternity. Make sure nobody's looking.
Now this little
Did he
gag.
read for Isaac at all, Jonas?
I don't think so.
No?
So they might be now that they yelled.
This was a rare find. There were very few seas of corn in that area where we could find the farm and the corn still like that.
Right.
And then we could get out in it and do what we did. Running along. We chopped down a lot of corn to build those rows
Yeah, we did.
so we could shoot through the corn,
Because
get
all
the
that
camera close.
everything was supposed to be tasseled at this point or something.
And I know just outside the frame of those big wide shots, there would be some kind of building or whatever. You're really lucky just to be able to control those images.
Yeah. So, I love in the car how the rearview mirror appears and disappears. Or are we not supposed to talk about continuity?
What are you, film detective?
This is what the fans love.
That's
to
right.
hear
Point
that.
'em
They
all
really-
out, John. Point 'em all out.
all the kids are always asking me, what's bloopers? Tell me stuff. They all want to know that's the fun stuff that
Inside.
they can. So I'm going to divulge as much as I can.
Absolutely.
Behind the scenes, behind the curtain.
Exactly. We love this idea, my writing partner and I, so much that in 666 we added the preacher on the radio kind of.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Just kind of a
Very good.
So,
Amen. Peanut butter and black bread.
Here we go with the relationship information, the facts of the fiction.
You really did a good job looking at it now, and 20 years later, setting up all these likable qualities for all these people in the first 15 minutes of this movie. Everybody's, the kids are likable, they're really likable.
Yes.
Before the moment here where the horror hits,
But also you get things like, which we passed by, the shot of the irrigation system
Right, which comes into play
dispenses
later
the
on.
water, which later comes into
Right.
play for the solution.
Set that up.
The terror in the corn. A lot of plot point. Also, thematic things were set up when this boy talks to those two, the younger kids. This will happen to you. You must follow the rules. The whole theme of dogma. There was that found spider.
Yes.
That
Yeah,
was
I
a
remember
great
that.
find.
Incredible.
It was just there. And here we are. Aren't we in California now in the corn?
We are.
Shooting these
We are
shots?
for some. We are for some of these shots. We're out in actually where John just shot number 6 out
Yes.
in
San Fernando Valley.
San Fernando Valley.
We came back for pickups.
They're chopping down part of that cornfield now. So we better film number 8 really quick.
The glint on the knife. Oh, and again, the splattered blood, just like in the coffee shop. I
Yeah.
remember that. And the prop man being excited. Now, how much should I splatter? That was fun.
Wonder how it got in gear.
Now, I remember this because I remember riding on the hood of the car to watch their reactions as we went through the skid. And I realized as we hit the drainage ditch, what an idiot I am.
You were on the hood.
On the hood watching them
Oh my
into the
God.
skid so I could be this, incredible auteur. Well, later I realized this is insanity.
Risking your life.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life.
I mean,
I like this sequence. It
Yeah,
worked well.
it's very scary.
Harry Karamedes, our editor, did great.
Did very good. I still have
terrific,
some of the fake arms and stuff that we used. I put those out for Halloween. Yeah,
The
Okay.
the prosthetic. Yeah, the fake.
prosthetics?
Yeah, I still have some of those things.
Oh, you didn't hit the real kid? Looks good.
Well, we had the real boy under the sheet.
yeah, we got
They-
to tell that
Yeah,
joke. We got to tell that joke
Jones,
right now.
yeah.
It was an
Yes.
right?
Oh, sure. Now you ruined it.
Luckily, they can edit.
Yes.
Poor Jonas. How hot was it that day? And he's up at the street, just out there in the dirt road.
He's a total trooper, though.
He was. Great little actor.
Didn't we have to flop back and forth on the street because of the corn and the time of day?
Yeah, we did. It was a
Keep the
reverse a
light.
few times.
Yeah, everybody got upset. You can't shoot this way. Oh, the light changed.
People are always asking me about that one line Peter says. He was already dead when he was in the street. And, well, how was he standing?
And he was just trying to rationalize his
I
way
know.
through the situation.
The throat cutting.
Yeah.
But it's a good lesson in cinema and not to say what you show.
That's beautiful. Look at that shot.
Yeah.
That's
That
really
was well.
epic. That's really epic, man.
Yeah.
The shot that I like comes up later when you enter the scene in the background. There's a nice long diagonal line of the corn and the road.
I was just gonna say, if I'm not
Vanishing
mistaken, in
points.
fact, that was actually my first shot too. If I'm not mistaken, so my reveal was actually my first shot, if I'm not
Is that right?
mistaken. Yeah, I remember this coming out here and sticking me in a cornfield, and saying, okay, walk out onto the highway with the knife and walk to the cars.
Stand there, be real quiet.
And it was just like, oh wow, here we go, we're starting. But it was just, I realized, I think it was the first shot was literally my first shot, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Your introduction.
Yeah. There we are. I think that was it. Literally, my first shot was pull the
Your
corn
hand.
back.
I think this is the day that I arrived in Iowa, and they drove me out just to meet you. And again, obviously after the auditions, but just to observe a little bit, and then they took me back to the hotel, and this is what you were shooting that day, I think. I don't recall.
Should all these things.
Had to get your schooling in.
Yes.
You didn't have school. Here, this is the shot I like, where you look way down. You have the vanishing points of the road and the corn, and Courtney steps out way down there, deep. And definitely, this is California, if I remember.
Boom, there it is. Yeah.
And we developed this whole idea of the fake threat and the dream and everything. Yeah. That's California corn, I can tell. Yeah. There's the Iowa corn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean this outfit they put me in was too is pretty very simple, like genius though, of having the shirt be short, you know, and the pants be short, and
It's like 3
yeah.
years you've been wearing the same stuff.
And with you know John being so short, people always are like how huge I am. They always thought I was like 6'4", you know. And they meet me, they're like, "Oh, you're so skinny. You're so small. You guys made me look huge in this."
Barbara Scott. Wasn't it Barbara Scott? who
Yeah,
did
she
the
was wardrobe. I had a lot of the I kept everything for about 4 years in storage, and
She
then
was
I just
really cool.
Unbelievable.
I had the shirt for years. I actually one of the shirts anyway, and I sold it for a fundraiser.
The last day she said, "Oh, do you want the hat and the whole outfit?" I'm like, "Nah."
eBay.
Dumbest thing.
eBay.
Dumbest thing. I would have just loved it. The hat.
Yeah, the hat's great.
And that jacket.
Well, you should tell this story about the.
Well, this is where Linda discovers. Obviously, we don't know this as an audience now, but she is in a dream situation, and she discovers and wants to investigate and grieve over this boy that they've just had the accident with. And when we told her the boy couldn't be there. There were problems with labor laws. We couldn't have a real actor. We'd have to put a mannequin under the coat or under the sheet. So just do the best you can. I apologize. But at the same time, we slipped Jonas under the sheet. She
Yeah.
didn't know it. So we could get a genuine,
Absolutely
organic
the
reaction
best
out of her.
prank on the movie by far. She just flips out here. Everybody else knew.
Yeah.
And it was a great laugh.
We're excited.
Really? Oh,
So her reaction was real.
Oh, she about jumped off the highway. She jumped so far back. It was.
yeah.
It was good.
It
She
was
liked
just-
it. I remember
Oh,
she
it's
said,
just-
thank you. The AD kept saying, if she gets a heart attack, it's your problem. I told you.
No, she's a great sport, but
Yeah,
she was just
she
like,
was
"You guys!"
Wow.
It was great.
It worked. And now they have that problem. Now they have to go on to the solution.
And then later on, you told Robbie that his dog died and make him cry.
I don't recall that. I don't recall that.
Years of therapy. if I'm
Jackie
not mistaken.
Coogan happened. They did that to him.
That's
Yeah.
why he stopped acting. It was that moment, Fritz. you
I
know?
think I ruined their lives, yeah. We have responsibilities as filmmakers. And that's why I hand everybody their $7 back when I see them.
it was $3.50.
$3.50
Wow.
at the time.
350.
Boy, it's changed, hasn't it?
Certainly.
$3.50 to $10.
10, 11.
I remember seeing it in Hollywood, you know, big
Yes,
marquee in Hollywood
yes.
with all my friends on
Yeah.
opening night. It was you know, it was a
Very
huge
cool.
crowd. It was big time.
Yeah.
It was fun. Well, it did very well for 2 weeks.
did
they
3
expected.
weeks.
Oh, yeah.
3 weeks?
3 weeks, we were in the top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It
That's
did
in my
very well.
scrapbook. I have a lot of those things from like Hollywood Reporter. 3 million in 3 days or something like that.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to get this stuff from you.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's fun.
Well, they're going to scan it, so hopefully some of it will be on this disc.
You hear the kids playing. Oh, this is where you terrorize, Courtney.
Yes.
And we did the trick with the knife on the wire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did
That's
we
right.
do this
That
in
looks good.
California? The knife hit into the board, or did we shoot this in Iowa with the knife on the
We
wire?
tried. We had the prop guy try numerous times. He was a very interesting man, and I think we got it because we
I think you just
lost.
said throw a real knife at the kids. It's no big deal if I'm not mistaken.
We lost the prop guys. We didn't have. They weren't available to us back in California.
When we did our pickups.
And there was after the explosion. There was.
The man who helped
Yeah.
us with the explosion, who was a little unstable at the time.
How much? $13,100.
These kids played great together. They were friends for a long time after the
Were
movie
they?
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. The mothers stayed friends,
Uh-huh.
so the kids stayed friends.
I remember in casting talking more to the parents than I did to the children to discuss the situation and what this film was about, so that there was a level of comfort and trust, because these children obviously were in a
Horror movie.
position to misunderstand what the film was about.
Right.
But little Anne Maria, if I remember correctly, only knew her scenes. She didn't know the whole film.
Oh.
There was the
There you
wire.
go, Corey. You got your hair the same length, the same
Yeah,
color,
yeah,
everything now.
Style's back, man. The mullet. It's my
You predated the mullet.
Yeah.
Courtney started the mullet. The Malinsky.
There's he smoking.
He's trying. Poor Courtney.
He was already dead when he stumbled up.
There's the line. He was already dead.
Do you think he saw us? I mean,
She feels such grief and guilt. It's good. And now, in the suitcase, even more creepiness.
Yeah.
Coagulated
Mhm.
for minutes. And
The
when
plot
the
thickens.
suitcase was still fresh.
then he could have been out there.
I couldn't just leave it there.
he's got long hair too.
Remember, we looped a lot of these lines, had to re-record them because of the sound problems in the car recording.
That guy took us right
Here,
I figured he finally tapped the little
this set was so small. That abandoned house that was being torn down. The dogs barking constantly. And
John's great in this scene, but I forget who the guy was that was the critic at ABC television at the time. He said, I read my lines in the scene like a laundry list. You know?
That was actually part of the idea, was to
Yeah.
kind of pay tribute to the B movies.
yeah.
That is, that was our effort. What I really enjoy is Jonathan Elias's score. He brings in the
Yeah.
choir so
Excellent.
often, that
Excellent.
youthful, angelic sound, which was really terrifying. It's almost psycho-esque in that
He did very good. Yes, I was.
repeated.
Yeah, I went back to New York for when they did all the sounds and everything.
This is the creepy part where I touch her chin. And so. Yeah.
Sight. This is a blessing, my child.
I've seen this car upon the road.
Go to the old man. Make sure he tells them nothing.
All that stuff that they drew on the walls there, all those murals, and phenomenal art direction.
Craig Stern, he did very
Yeah,
good. He did very well later too. I mean, this was a good stepping stone
Yeah.
for him.
Craig has done about 5 Stephen King movies.
Well, he's done a lot of. He's
Yeah,
done a lot
a
of big
lot.
movies.
Oh,
Good for him.
Big Mama's House and others.
I act according to his will.
On to some good films.
All these little details in the background are just wonderful.
One of the nice things in that scene is your eye sockets, you were lit from above, so we made you masked in nice raccoon-like light. The kids got full light, so you could see their innocence, but you carried a certain evilness in the way that it was lit. So there are little subtleties like that. Looking
remember-
up, looking down.
Yeah. I just remember that scene. There were 25, 30 crew members in that tiny room, and it was hot.
Sweaty hot.
And my parents came to visit, and you were so nice. You let them sit on the floor 5 feet away from me. And I'm like, and they were like, "This is our son. This is really creepy. We don't like this side of you, John." And then after that, they didn't want to watch the filming anymore. They were like, "We've had enough. Thank you." But you're like, Mr. Franklin, you can sit over here.
Sit on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they thought it was cool. I mean, they had never been on a set before. Obviously, it was my first film, so. And they drove out from Illinois, where I was from.
He smokes a cigarette like a little
joint.
12-year-old,
A
you know,
joint
trying to
is-
look tough. Yeah.
That was our problem. He wasn't convincing with that action.
Yeah.
So we had to eliminate it, which meant we eliminated certain things that he did, which changed the character slightly during the film. It was too bad. It was a post-discovery. But overall, he had so
Yeah,
much
but
stuff to
Harry
do.
was very good cutting the movie on the go. He did a very good rough cut while we
There
were
was-
going.
Here's R.G. Armstrong.
R.G. Armstrong, yeah.
Loved him.
He just passed away, huh?
Yeah. I mean, by this point, he played on like over 100 films, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Done a
was
ton of
terrific.
stuff. He did another horror movie. What was that one where it was like, they were doing, I can't think of the name of the film. It's great. They played the sheriff, I think, and he was evil. The whole town was evil. And they were doing sacrifices and stuff.
He's in a lot.
He did a tremendous. He was great. All this done in one day. I mean, we did about 10 pages with him
Wow.
in and around this gas station. Tremendous amount of work. Didn't we have the steady cam that day? And we did some
There wasn't
big
they
shots.
didn't have a steady cam.
Then we did a big handheld shot.
It was all handheld back then.
Yeah.
It was all-
And it rained.
It
One
rained.
day we had to shoot. We invented the idea of let's go in the garage and shoot because of the rain, so we'd have a cover. And then we set it all up, and it stopped raining, but we still use this
That's right.
reflection
Actually, I
shot
remember that, now that
to
you
tell
bring
the
that-
story.
You can see the wind changing and everything.
But that day was so cold because I got to just go and observe. I took my parents again to watch some of this. It was freezing. It's like just the temperature change dropped.
It kind of worked well for us, though.
Yeah,
telling
look
the
at Peter
story.
freezing.
And Sarge the dog.
That was a great trainer.
That dog did everything on cue perfectly.
It's actually, I didn't really remember how windy it was. It's actually a great effect in this thing. It's always,
We didn't have the wind that we created later, toward the end. We had to. This was just nature being good.
it actually is nice quality.
Yeah.
Created some kind of vibe before the change in the storm, and then, of course, the cauliflower film that comes over the top of the cornfield.
The killer cauliflower.
They're not going to let you redo that for the 20th anniversary, CGI it up or anything?
I don't know. I don't think so. That was a film that our friend Terry and I, we had worked with him in commercials. He was a cinematographer. Had done some tests with ink tanks, injecting ink into water for a motorcycle company. And he said, look at this. And we thought, terrific. Let's turn that upside down, paint it green, do whatever we're going to do, flip it, put it in the cornfield. And it became our monster, one of our monsters. It was good.
Very cool.
It's just amazing that all these locations were so close to each other when you think about.
Da-da.
That looks good.
Yeah, it looks great.
That's just cloud work. The real monster later on in the film, but that good.
I mean, it's so simple now as to back then on a limited budget to get some type of effect to work.
Yeah, far more ingenuity is required.
Here we are. This whole scene's shot from the point of view of the bad guys to set up their victim. The control comes from us watching him. We get to be the little kids now.
There we go. That's California.
Back to California.
One day a pickup. I think I might have even driven that car that day.
See
I think that was you and me with the camera out in Oxnard someplace.
Right.
Matches, compass, pocket knife.
I don't get it. Camping stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Look at the color of the sun. It was good.
Didn't the last sign we saw say Gatlin was
Now, didn't we shoot in our very first day or 2 days this sequence with the car in the cornfield running
It was
back
more in
and
the
forth?
in the cornfield because we took
On
the
a
guy's
truck.
field right away and we made the roads and everything.
Yeah, knocked down corn, had kind of a row or two of corn stalks between the car and our camera.
We cut this road. The road that he's going to turn down, we made that road.
That's right. And then got into this idea of the corn attacking the car, so we made the road more narrow.
That is great.
And then cut angles, so it seemed to become a little bit human or suggest a human quality. It was trying to grab our heroes at that point.
Very scary scene when it's slapping against the car.
Nervous.
Yeah.
And this location, this was a abandoned garage?
It was an abandoned garage on the road, not far from everything else. I mean, the whole thing was when we found this one area in Sioux City. It was like the script.
It was particularly the cornfield with that tree.
Yeah,
that tree was there. We didn't
I know.
put the tree in. The tree was there, which becomes that was the poster almost.
Yeah.
It was actually Joe Madalena found a lot of those things, and we found the towns, and Joe went out and made all the deals with the locals to use their property, pay them for it.
I kept our bargain, just like always.
Yeah, we were losing light. We were rushing to get all that in because we had to go inside and beat them up.
Another.
What about Hemingford?
People who don't like visitors, they sure do advertise enough. Over there.
Car mounts. We had 2 cars. We had 2 cornmobiles. One for all this traveling and one for the inside.
Yeah, that was Joe's biggest problem, was finding 2 cars, and we couldn't really decide. We couldn't really complain about what it was as long as we got 2 that matched.
Yeah.
Just 2 yellow cars.
Did you want yellow?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Part of the color motif was yellow and blue through the whole film.
Okay.
The scheme.
Now, even though I'm not like technically in this scene, the fact that I axe a dog really puts me on a whole nother level. It's like not just killing humans, but I'm killing animals. And people never forget that. They're like, you killed the dog, So it was very effective in making me a bad
worst.
guy.
The children were the worst.
How'd that help in your dating?
Metal chicks in the 80s loved me. That's all I can say.
He's king of the goth world.
Yes, that's what I was saying in my other thing. All the goth chicks with the black nail polish. Like, calling up my agent. My agent goes, another one of your sisters forgot your phone number. Couldn't give it out though.
Fantastic.
I want to talk to John Franklin. I'm his sister.
My acting debut comes up soon.
Your hand in here?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Look at how the light changed because we were losing it.
But it looks good, actually.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It sets up a transition to evil. I love the silhouette because that's what we had. So it became a benefit.
Was that your hand? Was that it?
No, I think I'm on the ground.
Again, a lot of inserts were done here,
Right.
back in Los Angeles. Quick little things like that cut well against this overall choreographed blocking.
Smack 'em, stick 'em, them skunks. Come on.
How old were you, Courtney, when this was?
Right out of high school. 18 years old. Looking like I'm 15, right?
Yeah.
There it is. Where's the glint? Yeah.
Yeah.
Love the glints. The
The
build.
music plays well, too.
Oh,
It just builds to the moment,
love this music.
and you don't show it. And then there's that wonderful shot at the end.
What is
Here's
it?
where the corn attacks the car.
Yes.
I mean, I haven't seen this in a long time, and I mean, the look of this thing is really good. You know?
This is the roads we made.
That's right.
Just my golf bag.
When I watched Signs with Mel Gibson, I felt a lot of this was like influenced it. Seemed like it.
He's plowing down the corn.
Yeah.
Getting angry. That's good. Here's where we did the traveling
just
shots
this.
off the back of a big steak bed or something.
Exactly.
And then framed these shots so the corn took more and more of the frame, so it encroached upon the audience bigger and bigger, cross-cutting like that.
The slapping sounds just terrifying. It's really creepy.
And then blinking light. Again, we're looking down on the car, which is the motif to look down on the victims. Look up at the good things. Look up at the bad things. Look down at the good things.
Right back where we started from. We never should have listened to that old fool.
You wanted to say
Headed
something
for the
different.
19-mile Gallup. Don't care how much religion they've got. We're going there right now. Don't ever show up in my emergency room, buddy.
Don't worry, he won't.
Yeah. There's the shot because of the rain. Couldn't show the weather, so I had to reflect it.
There we go, my acting debut.
Beautiful
Oh,
work. Beautiful.
wonderful.
Really bought your hand was dead.
I felt his sorrow.
Yes.
And
His pain.
yeah, I think there's an award in the future for
He
you.
wasn't feeling anything, was it?
Weren't you in the Addams Family later on?
Hey, John, for me, this cornfield was a pretty powerful place when we were out there working. Did you feel that way?
I was so terrified just to be doing. This was my first scene that I did when I showed up, and so it was just literally the first time on a lead in a film. I'd done a couple commercials before this, so it was like they walked through me, and Fritz walked through with the, here's your mark, hit the when you say this, walk it, and then I just remember I did it, and it was just like the crew burst into applause when I finished first because it was a perfect take. And it was just, they started calling me one take kid. And then I was just like terrified after that. I had this reputation I had to keep up.
But those kids look great, nice and grody.
Yeah.
The wardrobe, makeup did well.
I
It was
told
tough.
the story on the other on-camera interview. But the day before I flew out to Iowa, I did a National Atari commercial, and I was Vulcan. So that's where the haircut came from. So I had the Vulcan ears and the eyebrows, and then when they cut it on the set of the commercial, I'm going, I'm doing this film. They're like, well, you have to do this commercial first, blah, blah, blah. So when I got there, they were like, yeah, it looks cool. And you looked at it, and it was like, yeah, it's creepy and weird. Okay, let's keep it.
It's creepy and weird. It's Vulcan-esque.
So I have a Vulcan haircut. That's where that came from.
There's our irrigation system balanced right against the evilness, the solution and the problem.
Yes, the blue man.
These kids kind of went on their own, if I remember correctly, in taking cues and building kind of a threat.
They were great.
They
Yeah.
followed and did it. And the fact that they're all children and we had the labor laws to deal with and we could shoot for a half an hour, then everyone had to have recreation in school.
Right.
It was, with body doubles and everything else, it was hard to keep
There's
a schedule.
The one girl, Peggy was her name. She was the waitress in the first coffee shop, and then she keeps showing up. And we kept in touch for years afterwards and stuff. She sent me a lot of interviews and newspaper articles from Iowa.
Wow.
And when it opened in Iowa, they had a huge party and
Fantastic.
premiere thing.
Yeah, I'm
and-
sorry we never got the footage for that. I know we set up a big opening for him in Sioux City for the movie. They had like a national holiday for the school.
Yeah,
Wow.
I should have. The kids were great. But Peggy kept in touch, and hello, Peggy.
Yeah, which town was this basically?
This is-
Salix?
Sally, this is the town where we did the big crowd. Yeah, this is the outside. This is the feed mill the mill that all the farmers bring their stuff to.
Mm-hmm. But we really used about 3 different towns to create the one town.
Right,
so we
but
used
the one
this street in one, and
yeah, but the one town had the perfect crossroads for the big scenes.
Yeah, that was Whiting, wasn't it? If I'm not
Whiting.
mistaken.
Oh,
There we
wow.
go.
And the reason I remember that is because even though it was a really small town with like the graduating senior class was like 20 kids, it was like all the girls were cute. The Whiting was where the girls were. And I kept going, can I get a car so I can go back out to Whiting?
I'm in the movie.
That's
Yeah,
right,
and
that's
the movie
right.
staff.
It was like a good hour and a half away from Sioux City, if I remember that. It was hard to get back out there.
It was a good drive.
I love that shot because the window was already tinted with dirt.
Right.
It was broken just like that. We just discovered that vantage point.
It was amazing that all the people in the town allowed us to close them up
Yes.
and do the scenes. You
And
know,
and we talked with the
Phenomenal.
mayor, the man who owned the bar or whatever across the street, and sure, we'll give you the whole town and then everything.
That's
And then
phenomenal.
scattered all the corn to keep the icon and keep the symbolism there. Yeah, that was fun. Just emptiness. Amazing how it was so easy. They were so gracious.
It'd be hard to find that today.
For the price we paid?
Yeah.
I don't even. It was next to nothing.
You'll find out.
It's a holiday, Corn Day.
I remember the call sheet kept being like 20 days until the rat works. And
No, that's
19 days
right.
until the rat works.
That's
The rat.
And then big finally, the rat works. Yeah.
There's the rat.
I just remember that. It was always at the
That's
bottom.
true.
Wasn't there like something with like the weather report and there was like something funny like always on the call sheet too? I can't remember what that was.
That was Victoria Pyramid.
Right.
Yeah.
She went
Good
on to
day.
became very good too, and she did very well.
Mick Jagger's producer.
Wow.
Doesn't she work with him
I'm not sure
in
now.
the company? But yeah,
Hmm.
here we go.
That's probably a real sound, right?
Bad fan belt, you bet. Cornmobile.
We kept that in L.A. for a while. In fact, you drove it for a while, didn't you?
Did. I drove the Cornmobile around, honked, waved at people.
You had to
Now
buy
this
it.
is a different town. This was not the same town. With this we cross-cut with some cutting pieces so we could make it look more abandoned and more different.
Yeah, 3 kids who tried to steal our car. There's something very strange about this town.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah, but they're in the island now in the middle of the Sea of Corn. They're not getting out. And that house was nearby, wasn't it?
It was right down the street, actually, from the main ranch, the main farm that we use for all the silo and all the kids filming. It was right down the street. In fact, I never found anybody home there. I was thinking it was an empty house, quite truthfully, this house.
So are you saying that we just took over someone's house and never had permission?
I think, no, Joe made a deal with
Okay.
Joe made a deal with somebody for the house. We just didn't walk in there. And
But it was never.
Guerrilla
We never
I
saw
just
it.
never remember, because I used to go to it, and I just never remember at this point seeing anybody there.
Was the TV guide thing in the original script? Because that's a great idea. Just to establish how the old, the abandoned.
The age?
That it's been abandoned for so many years.
I should look for that script because I have it.
Hmm.
I couldn't find it, so.
Okay,
But
yeah.
I know it's someplace in the house.
Bert, this is somebody's house.
Yeah. Remember we had on the crew, everybody was always yeah to everyone else when someone would say something. And he liked that. He wanted to include that kind of crew joke.
So,
Yeah.
And then this is a house that's in actually Sioux City that we used. We used the upstairs and the downstairs for the interior of that exterior house, because I'm almost positive that house was empty.
Just trashed it up, yeah. That was one thing we were able to do very successfully, is to match all these locations back and forth, so it gave a continuity to the entire look. You thought you were in this one place, but we 3 different cities in Iowa, Los Angeles, Sioux City, it mixed well. Craig Stearns again.
Yeah. Great touch. There's the TV again.
Found the phone.
Matches the decor perfectly. This is 3 years old.
I don't understand what's going on here.
Well, can we go?
That would have been cool to have Linda on the cover of the TV Guide. She had been doing all those TV movies before. She was the scream queen of those.
Tribute.
Yeah.
This was a lot of the rooms were small here. It was difficult to work. I remember that.
Was that the hallway going up to where we shot Isaac's room before? It looks similar.
It's the hallway. It's the same house where we shot the kids with the Victrola playing Monopoly.
Oh, okay. So I just remember a tiny, horrible, creaky stairway going up to Isaac's room, the lair that we saw already.
And then we used that. This was the room we used for Anne Marie. Also, this is where the opening scene drawing.
Right.
Good choice of house, though. The farmhouse architecture, that woodwork, the molding, everything.
Did you paint those walls yellow and blue?
Don't believe so.
No.
Wow.
I believe
This
how
was
you
all-
found this.
No,
We didn't. Again, there was no budget to paint.
We just dressed up,
We had no budget to paint.
so we searched and found that which we wanted.
Yeah.
There's our great pictures again.
That was the budget, crayons and
No, we made a deal with Winter's wife to do all these. We had to make a deal.
they're great.
Yeah. Rose with a Z.
Del Shannon, huh?
I was gonna say, hey, that's a big song. You had to pay for that.
Yeah.
We did. We paid for a few.
Two. Two or
The
three.
opening in there.
The opening song with the dance.
Everything else is score, but I think there's a couple of needle drops, records,
Yeah.
pre-recorded records.
I'll go look at the deal memos and let you guys know.
Yeah. It was an eye-opener to find out how much a needle drop cost.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that.
Can imagine.
Thousands and thousands of dollars.
Do you live here?
Just come here to play.
Are your mommy and daddy around?
They're in the cornfield.
She has such a great voice.
Yeah.
So soft.
All the grown-ups are there.
Are they working there or having a meeting?
No. Isaac put them there.
Who's Isaac?
Come on, sweetheart.
It's cool. People have mentioned to me, that I'm not necessarily there physically, but there's constant references to Isaac, and you just keep remembering,
It's power.
Yeah.
Of course.
A lot of people say, "Oh, man, you're in the whole movie." I'm like, "No." They talk about me enough.
That's the theme working.
Yes.
Dogma.
It's very important that we speak to some grown-ups as soon as possible.
We're wasting our time here, Vicky.
Well, give her a chance.
Yeah, I'm gonna go look at the town hall.
Why?
Because we have a murder to report, and we're standing here talking in circles, wasting our time.
Well, maybe she can help.
Well, fine, then you stay here with her. Listen, things just aren't happening fast enough. So I'm gonna leave you the car. I won't be gone very long. If anybody comes, Just come honk, okay?
I remember one snotty review of the movie used that line as, you know, as what they were saying about the movie. It's not moving along fast enough.
Well,
Didn't understand.
For all the best review for the whole movie was out of Billy Bob out of Dallas, Texas.
Yes.
He loved the
The
movie.
drive-in.
Oh,
Well, that's what it's for. This
should
is a
have-
drive-in movie.
Yes.
He gave it the best review there
Yes,
was.
it was wonderful.
He understood what it was.
Yes.
Everyone else went to highbrow it up to the.
I mean, I think the way you look at a movie is you look at, you know, from my point of view, is you look at the genre it is and the budget it took to make it, and like that,
Yeah.
you judge it on that criteria,
Yeah.
you know. And I think in this criteria, this movie's
Well,
a
it did
cult
good.
classic at this point, and that's what it is.
Exactly. That's what
quite-
I said. Cult classic.
Well,
I mean, it was probably one of most Stephen King's successful movies at that point. For the amount of dollars spent for the movie, it was an extremely successful movie. And it still is, according to when you look at it, and you find out that it's still a demand for this movie, and whether it be
People are still renting it. It's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I have an 11-year-old kid. I know 11-year-olds are still seeing this movie for the first time. It's just
You
like,
let 11-year-olds see this?
I don't let my son see it. I wouldn't actually. But I'm telling you, other 11-year-olds have.
I am surprised it's still rated R. It really should be like PG-13.
Well, that was what we went against
Yeah.
the MPAA back then.
Mm.
Looks like Marshall High School.
No, that was
it was Iowa.
Really?
Iowa.
The people were just so nice that whether we shot this on a Saturday or what, they just allowed us. I mean, to.
Trash it.
Carte blanche.
But we cleaned up. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
like we let, just like this church and the whole bit, this one church, and then.
Yeah.
But did we not build the front of this church
No, this.
in one of the towns?
Yeah,
so
what we did is
we could
the
run out of it
scenes.
later?
The scenes. No, this
This door?
this door and the whole thing I think stayed. But what we did, all the interiors of the church, we went to another church in town.
Right. Oh, we built that, the reverse,
Right.
so we could take that church, which was not in town. We
Right.
built the doorway in the town so we could look over the shoulder out into the town.
Exactly.
That's what we built. Yeah.
That church was just out in the middle of nowhere.
And this.
So this is for me one of my favorite scenes in terms of acting, because when this line, "We want to give you peace," or whatever. What I love about it is I play against the grain so much that the rest of the time I'm heavy-handed, but in this one I play against, and it's just much more creepy. you
It
know?
is. It's great. It's a great
That's-
scene.
I liked it because it introduced that
Kicking.
big sickle, that mythic weapon.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, definitely is
that's
the
on the-
symbol of this movie on the poster
Yeah.
and the whole thing.
Now, through this, Peter was smoking. This is where we had to do a lot of editing, so we couldn't, because he didn't have a quality that was that attractive. It detracted, and that changed the way he walked around, unfortunately, or the footage that we were able to use.
Mm.
Here we go with the suggestions again.
You look so young, Courtney.
John's music just keeps the suspense going,
Mhm.
building. All this subjective camera. This was in Sioux City, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, this
Wasn't it a
was
train
Sioux City. It
station?
was the old train station or whatever.
Was that supposed to be the police station?
Well, the police station actually gave us, I think, I was trying to remember that now, whether they gave us part of the police station or it was an old train station that we dressed. I think it was an old train station
Yeah.
that we dressed
Right by the
up.
hotel. I think it was
Yeah.
around the corner from where we
It
stayed.
was walking distance, actually.
Yeah. But Craig put, I think, on the exterior of the small town building, some kind of styrofoam facade, so we could change the name of the building to the bank or from a bank into something else,
Mm. That picture's creepy.
Mm-hmm.
made with corn kernels.
Yes. Later on in the church, or that other one. Yeah.
So how's it coming, huh?
There we go with the dust in the air,
Mm.
smoked it up,
What'd you draw?
give it some age and softness,
Yeah.
and yellow.
Did I see?
I wouldn't look at that paper, Linda. Uh-uh.
What is this?
Uh-uh.
Bert?
Oh, this is the police station.
Bert, is that you? Somebody here?
Here it is, the creepy scene.
Who are you? What do you want?
We want to give you peace. Seize her. Go on, get her.
Very powerful. That's very cool. Very, yeah, it's creepy.
That less is more thing. About
Yeah,
that's when I started to learn it.
Oh, the axe through the door.
Ooh.
Hey, here's Johnny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was The Shining before this or after this?
After this.
After?
They stole it.
Here we are again watching the children watch the adults. I like this. Put everything on the point of view of the kids.
She's kicking.
That's weird here. That's weird.
Yeah, town hall. That's what he built. That styrofoam to change a bank into the town hall. Strangely, this is really good camera operating because the camera operator was trying to find something and had no idea where it was, which was the picture. Just
Perfect.
figured out, well, it might be over here.
The Karhn movie.
It's been corn.
That was the verb, wasn't it? Everything. Corn up this room. We'll be back in an hour. That was the verb, but now I remember.
Sarah, what happened here, huh? What happened? Where's Vicky? You gotta think. Now think. What happened to her, please?
I remember Peter and Linda
I
and
love that
all these
shot.
people bought all this antique furniture and put it on the, the dressing room, and then sent it back to California. Like, all these great antique stores were there, and they're like buying up antique furniture, and
Lucky.
What have I done?
then the honey wagon.
Questioned him not in vain.
Good
Do you
scene,
not
John.
know you did sacrifice Joseph without an offering?
My
And
voice
did
is
you
a
not
little bit
spill the
lower in
blood
these
of the
days.
old man when his oil and gasoline were still useful to us?
We have our own fuel now from the corn.
Show not your pride, Malachi.
Misguided Courtney, misguided Malachi. He tries to do his best, but
Maybe he's just pleased that we have not offered him Sarah and Job.
Sarah has the gift of sight. She warned us of the coming of the interlopers. Question not my judgment, Malachi. I am the giver of his word.
It's a pretty famous line right there.
Yeah.
Go you and bring me the husband. You must offer them tonight when Amos leaves.
I think that's Peggy in the background
Sarah, come
Oh
on.
yeah, that was Peggy.
Yeah.
That's Peggy.
One of those kids, I was talking to Linda, one of those kids became the sidekick to
Who's Malachi?
Sheena or whatever. What was the powerful girl?
Xena?
Xena. She became the sidekick to Xena.
No
Really?
kidding.
Yeah.
Huh.
Linda told me all about that.
I know who you're talking about, but I can't place when she was here. That's
Right.
that's pretty wild.
once again we started everybody.
That's right. No kidding.
Responsible. This is my favorite. The corn comes alive again. The elaborate wire work that went into this.
It's very cool looking though.
Wow. From the point of view of the corn is yellow. From the point of view of the player, the corn is green.
That's
What,
good.
what happened?
Because we're in California now.
Yeah, we're back again. Close. And all the little voices in the corn that we added to give more of a human quality to, and the monster growls. I don't think we had a dolly for that shot. I think we used like a skateboard on the ground or
Something. He was
Bumpy.
It was very and they were very good, you know.
extremely
How-
ingenious.
How was that cross thing rigged to lift her up? And
I think the kids just picked her up. I don't think we had a mechanical assist.
No.
There was a
anything.
thing at the bottom to make it
It was
easier.
a hinge.
Yeah,
Craig
the
built
hinge.
a hinge
Yeah.
device.
So it would lock into place, so it wouldn't
But
be a
they-
thing of worrying about her falling.
Yeah, but they had to lift her, and they had a seat built into it, and it
Right.
was safe.
Yeah.
But it was not hydraulic or mechanical or anything.
No, because later on I went up and
Yeah. And these kids invented this little chant on their own
Oh.
here as we shot them from a ladder. And walked around with cameras, get these little pickups. That was a very fast scene.
There's the
Yeah.
knife.
Yeah, that's one of them. I actually have the one that disappeared. I don't know where that one
The
is.
blood
though.
knife,
Yeah.
the trick knife.
Yeah.
John Philbin. Yeah.
John Philbin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Another
nice
very
guy.
first
Mm.
film for him too.
Yes, it was. And I remember trying to get that knife thing to work was kind of, the
It's difficult, but it
Yes.
worked well.
No, this is a different. This is actually a church in town that was not very happy when they found out the storyline.
yes.
They weren't overly enthusiastic.
Wonder why.
Well, in the end, though,
Yeah.
it all comes around to
That's-
prove that there are, to change your point of view, to tell the truth about all these things. There's Julie Manalena.
Yeah.
she's a sweetheart.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I saw her about a year ago. So she's really good. Well, she married a preacher.
No kidding.
Yeah. She has a couple kids.
John Franklin's about 8 years old. Looks good.
John Philbin.
Interloper. Your presence does profane this holy place. He will reckon with you.
You know, Robbie really did do a great job for such a young. He did really a great job as an actor.
Oh yeah.
Hurry, get Isaac.
Now, he contributed quite a bit, particularly when we got into situations where he just ad-libbed a line or improvised something and made it a little funny, played with it. He did quite a bit in the rough and tumble area, too, when we got into the last reel of the film, the climax, running and gunning. It was more about the challenge of the hours,
It was always that. But
long hours, right to the limit on how long you could work with them.
But the teacher was very good. I mean, we figured out ways to get the extra hours with schooling, etc. like that. She was good.
And the kids did it. They did everything they had to do without.
The teacher's name was Rainey. I actually hung out with her on the set, and then a couple years later in LA, we became friends. Cool lady.
Who the hell's him? He who walks behind the rose.
See, I have that knife. Someplace.
Back off.
There's a shot missed there. I missed a shot when Peter was holding them off, so we had the tail of a take where we saw the knife in the frame and were able to use that, but actually it was a missed opportunity. There's the fake set that we built in the town to match the front of the church, so we could have the escape and the over-the-shoulder shot. And then Peter ran through parts of the towns,
Right.
different days.
That must have been tough. Continuity with the blood
It was
from day to day.
a lot of continuity matching, a lot of consideration for those things because of these locations.
Oh, thank God for Polaroids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We even took one scene into Los Angeles.
The kid was great.
So now he's bleeding more. Which makes sense, because at least it's more, not less.
This had
That kid that was on the left of the frame, I remember actually going to his folks' house on the farm and having dinner.
Oh.
Yeah, Garrett there.
Mm-hmm.
That was before your braces, right?
Oh, big time.
these towns were fantastic. Everything was there. These little corners and trashed up areas, and all you had to do was just minor dressing, Nice little aged nooks and crannies. To run around, hide. This place was completely dressed. I remember this hardware store.
Exactly.
Nothing had to be touched except some smoke in the air and a little bit of light through the windows, and it was a creepy hiding spot. Very odd.
Looks completely like it's a set.
Yeah.
It was. I remember it being really dark in there, actually.
And that was a good thing. That was what we were able to exploit, was the lack of light. But we didn't have to stir the windows. We didn't have to dress anything.
Amazing.
Is that just soap on the windows, like X and O's?
I don't recall. I think that was all there.
Wow. Yeah, you can tell your pants are high water.
High waters, yes.
Where's the flood? Malachi.
The glint.
Yeah, that kind of hurt, you know? See, that's what he gets for hurting me. Instant karma.
That's right. He's fallible.
Yeah.
He's not perfect.
That's what makes a great hero, though.
Well, that's what we tried to do there. Even though it's somewhat funny, the idea was
Yeah.
he wasn't going to just succeed without some consequence. He
Right.
is a human being. He's going to run into things. Oh, this was a great fix on the set when they go underground. He's saved by Joby, and he comes to this hiding place under a house. And we built this storm door on the side of a house, and then went to another location.
We went to a guy's garage.
And built a series of walls to imply that they went through kind of a labyrinth to find this hidden little room behind, or in the depths of the garage. But this was all set up with, it was all built sets in that garage.
Cool.
All set for the camera angle. This was fun.
Isn't this neat? My dad built it. It's when the communists launched the first strike.
Communists, we have to worry about Job.
Don't worry. Nobody knows about this place. It's secret.
Those guys friends of yours?
No way. They listen to Isaac and Malachi.
Who are Isaac and Malachi?
Isaac started the whole...
The two greatest actors ever born.
Never happened. But when he was young, he was a preacher, so everybody believed him. He
Yeah.
had a great spirit.
It's a nice scene where she tries to help out the adult.
Yeah. The bandage.
They're the good kids. Those are the kids that are
I just
the
love this
examples.
shot. I think this is a great shot.
We must sacrifice them both tonight.
Yeah. And yeah, it's cool. Cool setup.
Woman, she'll bring the man to us.
No. He must be
What's
taken with
cool is that she was never there when I shot this. When we shot this.
We will bring the Lord to using one.
There
Yeah,
was like a dummy of her that day. So you did the other tight shot of her, and then when we did this,
Conversation, we took her down. Of course, there's a union rule about crucifixion. You can only keep an actor on a crucifix for not more than 8 minutes.
We couldn't get it in the deal memo.
Yeah.
hey, it's before Terminator, you know.
Usurpation.
Love that tree back there. It's great.
Well, that was the tree that was there. That was
Yeah.
the great discovery of this cornfield. It had this odd, eerie tree in the middle of it.
disobedience to me is disobedience.
All we had to do was bring in the irrigation system and clear a small arena for these scenes to play out.
I'm tired of your talk, Isaac. I've shown them what I can do. Cut the woman down.
What's cool is there was another scene where we're walking along,
We will see.
Courtney and I, and you had dug a trench so that Courtney would be lower, and I had apple boxes, and I had to like walk like 7 feet along different apple boxes as we walked. But in this one, when he's taking control, you didn't.
taller.
He's much taller. So it's like you grew a foot, but it just definitely shows control, and it's a great subtle thing.
There are a lot of little things played like that.
Yeah, very cool.
Now this scene, you know, Linda was like, you know, go ahead and be rough with me. It's okay. You know, this is my first film, and I'm pumped on this scene. This is a big scene for me. If you look at my hand holding her face,
man.
okay, you can see my fingers are like going deep into her skin. And she never said anything. The next day, she had like broken corpuscles on her face, and I felt so bad, you know.
Look at how you're jerking her around, man. She's like whipping around like a rag doll.
This is the organic.
Yeah, this is the
Method.
organic
This is
method
you and the
acting.
knife.
That took a while to get right, but right there, look at him, just like killing her. Like, look at that.
Well, she was, yeah. a
I
great
felt
actress, too.
really bad, but no, she was going,
wanted
go
it.
for it, and I was just like, all right. And she didn't complain or anything, but I felt so bad afterward.
I wonder if she lets her kids watch this movie.
Here's where the sound takes us back to our people underground.
But yeah, Outlander, people scream that at me, and he wants you to, Malachi.
Yeah.
Goes to Outlander, and he wants you to, Malachi. I've heard many times.
Yes. Oh, many parking lots I was talking about. They're like,
Yes.
Outlander. And they always yell at me, Malachi. Malachi. Or they say that line, Get the ending.
Yeah.
Want you to, Malachi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when we built that, I remember we had to stack all the actors in underground because it obviously didn't go underground. It was only about 3 feet tall, so they're crouched in there like
that's great.
clowns in a small car at the circus. They came out. That was great. That's the fun stuff. How nice the skies came out. Give us that kind of transition. Not just perfect blue, but a little bit mottled.
All of you shall feel his wrath!
We have a surprise for you, Amos.
You morons! Don't you understand what he's trying to
Isaac's
do?
going to keep you
He who
company.
walks behind the rose will decide your fate! I am the word and the giver of...
You just said improv. They were like there's one line written. So I'm like going on, and later on I think I say, you idiots.
You seem a little pissed in that scene, John.
I'm trying to think of things to say. Like, I am the giver. Just like,
Some morons.
oh, I did. It's morons. I think I said, you morons.
Here we had the problem of night transition, where we had to photograph these scenes to get us through night and into night. Here we had a problem with a cinematographer who was sick and didn't get the right aperture setting on the camera, so it's all black.
Oh, wow.
And later I remember the people at New World saying, what happened? This is awful. It's terrible. Well, obviously when the door opens, the light streams in. It's beautiful. But up to that point, you have all this blackness. So I said, no, that was the intention. It was supposed to be spooky and eerie. That's what I wanted. Gosh, it's awful. It's all black.
He was a trooper.
He had like 105-degree temperature this day. He was lying down. His camera operator was trying to help him, everybody. And he stuck right through it. The next day, there he was back again. Doing it. Contributed a lot. Tremendous amount.
I got sick right when the day we did the explosion. Maybe I got my cold from him. 'Cause I remember I had a bad temperature, and I wanted to see that explosion, though, so I wasn't going
Oh, I
anywhere.
remember that. Well,
The whole town
hung
wanted
out.
to see that
Yes.
explosion.
All the fire
The
trucks
cars up and
lined
down the
up.
street.
All the
Yeah.
tons of fire trucks lined up, ready to go, and
They were smart.
worried we were going to burn down the town.
It took forever to get that shot. It was like 15 minutes, half hour. Just
Yes.
took
Like,
forever.
There's
was
a,
it
there's
2
a
in the
lot of
morning?
stories behind the special effects teams.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Those were gas bombs. Well, we'll see them go off in the end here, but they were big 50 gallons of gasoline in the ground.
I remember this whole thing. I was by
Cold.
myself. It was freezing.
Yeah.
It was the last shot of the night. Everyone's gone except like Fritz and the camera.
So you can actually see it. Like, it's starting to get blue back there.
Yeah.
The sun's starting to come up. I remember we shot
Yeah.
all night in this
Yeah.
whole fight scene and everything. And I remember it being really cold and the ground was really hard. I wish we had dug it up. I was beat up pretty bad.
But Fritz, you were so nice. You kept like between takes, you would put up a ladder and have somebody put up like a horse blanket, moving blanket on me. And finally, I was like going, "Stop! Just keep shooting!" Like I'll freeze up here.
get me out of here.
We all just want to go home and go get some sleep. It was like 5 in the morning.
Yeah,
So it
that was the most. I think the toughest night, the toughest
Yeah.
shoot. It
Oh,
was
yeah, a
pretty
couple
miserable.
of nights out here.
Yeah,
There's the
there's
old wheelbarrow.
Love
Turned
that.
over.
It's awesome.
it's just so cool. That's a simple, wonderful effect.
Extremely simple, very effective, very low cost, and dreamed up while we were there. What are we going to do? I got an idea.
Yeah, you should
You know,
explain
he
exactly
came
how
through
you
with
did
it. I mean, he built the ditch, and we put the duvetine over it, and then the dirt. And the tractor was going one way, and
pulling the wheelbarrow on that track and stretching the canvas or whatever that cloth was that was buried under the sand, under the vermiculite. And it repeated every time. Just back up the tractor, back up the wheelbarrow, and pull it again. Worked real well.
This was great. You had a flashlight, and you're like going up my body, and like, just follow the monster. That's where it is. You'll know where to look. People still ask me, what was it like going through the air? I'm like, oh, it was really cool. And I just, I was like, I didn't want the stunt double, and I just flew in the air.
But that was how big was that model we shot up through an air cannon? Like
Peter and I went at this pretty good. We were waiting for this, kind of egging each other on. Yeah, I mean, we didn't hurt each other, but we went at it pretty good.
Remember, you were working with the fight choreographer and stuff.
Who was one of the body doubles in the original coffee shop massacre. He was the man who got his throat cut over.
Right, that's right.
And he took that and died.
Right.
The Captain Kirk speech.
Yes.
Remember this when you were working on the script? This was the moment of reason, and it was always referred to as the Captain Kirk speech, where he turns everyone around back to thinking correctly.
they've got no parents to go home.
No. But some of them have babies of their own. That was always creepy, that one little baby.
Yeah. When we did the Waller group for the voices, the background people, one of the women in the Waller group was able to create a fantastically convincing baby cry. She's the voice of one of the Simpsons now.
Oh. Wow.
Oh, there you go.
She was great.
Go, Courtney.
Yeah, we went at it pretty good.
No, it's not fair. You're fighting a one-armed guy.
That's right.
It's a bad day at Black Rock. I mean, it's Spencer Tracy fight here. One-armed man.
Smack, smack.
Don't date her again.
Leave my daughter alone.
That'll teach you.
Is this what you want? Huh? Is this what he commands?
There's Peggy.
I don't think we did a lot of multiple cameras.
We did. We had 2 cameras, and most of the second camera was there for Phil would the camera operator. Actually, Raoul did all its own operating. Then we had the second camera. Phil would operate.
But no, it wasn't like we had a lot of cameras to play with and a lot of different things.
Well, that's
These
right.
were individual sets.
We had Gary Tilges and O'Neans doing second camera.
They came in for, I think, a week.
3 weeks, I think. 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Did driving shots or
Right.
something
Fritz,
else.
do you remember as script was written, he was supposed to grab me and carry me through the cornfield, and we were going to have to rig this big harness on and this whole thing, and yet you came up to me and said, we just don't have the time. We can't do it. I was so disappointed because that was the big scene where I'd get to freak out, you know, after being this tough guy, you know? But
I got a better idea. Let's have him choke you.
Yeah,
okay,
snap
that
your
works.
neck.
Yeah.
Right, and then right before that, there was that insert shot that we actually shot later too. You made a black box so I
Right.
could have that moment because we didn't have the coverage of me being scared before he grabs me, and I tried to convey at least some fear there of like the guy being softer and
That
Rewrite the
scene went
script.
on and on before the fight and everything, and I sat there in the makeup trailer for hours, and
that
she
makeup?
started trying to figure out how to make me look dead and possessed and all this stuff, and coming around the dead, and she started putting the gray in, and then she took pork sausage and glued it to my head, and that was all pork sausage, and then they did like the little latex around it to make it look like scars and stuff
Fantastic.
like boils, but it's just pork sausage. By the end of the night, I'm like really starving because it smelled like
Smelling like
it smelled
pork.
like Farmer John or something.
Jimmy Dean.
Yeah, Jimmy Dean. It's very funny.
See who walks behind the rose.
But what if we tried to run for it and make it to the road?
I think we're safer here for now.
There we go.
Oh, I enjoy doing these things. This is fun to throw things in the air and create the wind and the noise
Trying to hurt the monster.
inserts.
Adults, the parents, before they were killed.
Blue man.
Who's the blue man? What did he do?
Ossifer Hotchkiss, I told
Ossifer.
you. Came down here after he talked to the minister. He was reading a page torn out of the Bible. And he was working with the still.
Where's the page?
Air cannons.
Why was he reading out of the Bible? What was it? Do you know?
Hmm.
Have it? Well, hurry up. Where is it? And the devil that deceived them
It's all Malachi's fault.
in the lake of
It's always my fault.
Who said that?
The false prophet are and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. What's that supposed to mean?
I like that she comes up with the idea. Was that in the original script that Vicky does, or was that a Linda Hamilton?
Don't know.
Thing.
I don't remember. Probably was.
She makes her more proactive. It's really cool. I like it.
Well, what stopped him?
Malachi!
Lake of fire! Fire! He was gonna burn the field!
Oh, yes! The gasahol! The still!
How?
Never mind, never mind. You kids give me as many hoses as you can find, quick! Joe and Sarah, find me a bottle, a glass bottle, pop bottle, all right? Quick, move! Vicky, come here.
Over here!
Doesn't fit!
That's that great Waller group. Adding all those voices and background, reality to it. They were terrific. The corn's starting to come in. Those rubber corn stalks.
It's alive.
Hang on to it. You got one. Good. All right, Vicky. See if you can find me a thick rag.
I remember now too that when I was up on the cross, it was so cold that night that the tape actually froze, and like it was like so distorted. We had to, loop the entire scene, and I was screaming at the top of my lungs in the looping session, matching the lips perfectly. And again, like one take, and Don Borchers goes, "Yeah, you should do this for a living," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you." And then I'm like driving home, going, "Wait a minute, I am doing this for a living." Thank you very much.
Good old Don Borchers.
There's the combination of the yellow and blue.
Oh yeah.
Evil and the warmth. Oh, the reverse printed. All this is reverse printed. The camera upside down. The corn was wrapped around him, then we pulled it off of him, ran the camera backward, turned it upside down, and then when we showed the film, it all reverse printed, and it looked as if it was attacking him. So he wrestled with this. This was good.
Yeah.
We had other things built, like the Earth was to open up and collapse underneath him, and some other, unfortunately not enough time to do them, stunts and special effects. But all of the wind was created by those giant fans off of the boats. We didn't have big Hollywood fans.
Looks great. That's so funny.
Cold and he's getting wet. What an unfortunate night.
For all that yelling, you could just go there and do it.
There's the color flower.
Yeah. See, I call it the Grinch monster because at that one point it looks like
It looks like the Grinch. You're right.
As the face shows up.
Yeah, that was Max Anderson.
The Grinch takes her for Gatlin.
That's a hard shot to light.
Okay!
Then we built the tractor had a big pipe device on the front that allowed us to squash the corn and drive the tractor over the corn.
Lock the wind!
He wants you too, Joby. He wants you too.
Yeah, about 50 feet of this wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
It just worked great.
Stop. Throw it right this time.
All that Greg Barbanel sound effects, roar and everything from Mag City. I don't know. Greg was terrific. He had a great contribution to all that. There's the 10-story fireball. Take 2, if I remember correctly. Take 1 was a bit of a problem. And then burn the cornfield.
The guy didn't mind it. He was happy. He didn't mind that.
Well, he had a lot. We didn't burn all of it.
Didn't burn his house down, at least.
It was a huge fire, though.
Yeah. Well, there was just one explosion, though, right? And then they repeated it over.
Right.
Yeah, we did.
Exactly.
Did
yeah.
2 takes.
We had a couple cameras running.
That unfortunately got moved between takes, so we couldn't match them. Put them on, stack them up one shot on top of another.
Looks cool.
And then animated, rotoscoped in the face.
Come on, let's go!
Is he dead?
I think so.
I think if we had made the film today, the computer-generated imagery would have helped that scene just be a real, effective,
Sure.
Oh,
Of course.
without a
real,
doubt.
Yeah,
terrific. and-
Pre
For
CGI.
what it was, yeah.
We were caught with not a nickel in our pocket to create something.
Looks pretty darn good.
There it is, the cornmobile, corned up to the utmost again.
To the nth degree.
Well, Hemingford's 19 miles, right?
You mean walk?
Sure.
But are you sure you're strong enough?
Okay. What about you? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'll make it. Got a great doctor.
I believe it. Jealous?
So what are we gonna do with these 2 little munchkins, huh?
Oh, I don't know. Guys want to come live with us for a couple of days?
How about a week?
Okay.
How about a month?
No. All right. I'll grab the map.
Seattle.
You can't leave the movie without one more scare,
Oh,
one
yeah.
more sickle, one more attempt.
The pregnant girl. This looks so good. Ow. Oh, man. Julie. Knocked out.
That poor cornmobile.
Took one for the team.
Yes. Only got 3 takes of that. Poof, poof.
Yay! Well done.
And the family walks into the future,
Yes.
now having solved the problem. Theme
Still don't
resolved.
really know where they're going, though.
Hemingford, 19
Yeah.
miles.
They have no idea.
Hemingway, Hemingford,
Coming for.
whatever it was. Look at that cast.
What a brilliant cast. Dan Snook.
Bruce Barber, that was the stunt man.
Yeah.
Right,
Joe.
right. Yeah.
Right.
Bruce used to call me up a lot after that. Mark Lipson was the whole reason that the movie got made.
That's true. Who certainly went on to bigger and better things as well. He made an incredible documentary called The Thin Blue Line years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Chernoff, too, has done a lot.
AD for a lot of big pictures and producer.
He became a big producer
That's
at
right.
Disney.
That's right. He sure
was-
did.
Gelb did very well also.
And Jack
Barbara
Greenberg.
Harris,
Greenberg,
top
of course.
casting, voice casting woman in the
Oh,
city.
yeah.
Right. Wow.
That was Hopgood's first AD job, second AD. He did very well.
He did a good job, and he did a really good job.
Robin Miller, great prop master. Great job. Erica, what did the makeup, with the pork sausage?
Yeah, she was very
She just
cool.
came up with that. Very clever.
Well, I think the movie still holds up, and the fact that it's doing so well in sales now, no matter what people say in the reviews, it's a good movie, and it was done for a great price, and it was a fun movie to make.
It was a very hard movie to make. We made this on a very short schedule in a short period of time with a lot of obstacles, but I think there were more real, genuine filmmakers, actors, craftspeople, artists that contributed to make the final result. Guys like Harry Karamides, the terrific editor, the sound, Greg Barbanel's sound, and the score by John, not always talked about, but their contributions really solidified the outcome of this film, really propelled it to a higher level.
But yeah, I mean, I agree with you, and I think the testament of that is 20 years later, how many people that were involved in this movie are still working in this business and still contributing and still doing stuff, and that's a testament to everything from good casting all the way down to casting up the right people on every job.
Well, Linda was known for that. I mean, Linda had discovered so many people in her life as far as a casting person.
Linda Francis.
Yeah, Linda Francis. Well,
right.
not even just from the casting point of view, but also talking from the crew point of view, how many people have gone on to bigger and better is a testament that we found a lot of talent across the board, I think, and it shows.
I just want to say thank you to all the fans out there, too, that keep this moving and keep this rolling and are renting this and buying this and just keep it going. I think it's really a testament to the film that it is a cult classic.
Yep.
Thank you.